Welcome to the Miejski Dom Kultury in Barcin, where just before the concert we have the great pleasure of talking to Sebastian Teir, better known as Kebu. Hi.
Hello.
At first, I want to ask you, how are you? How was the trip?
Oh, thanks. Quite fine. A bit tired after everything, but we've had some rest now for a couple of days. So yeah, now I'm quite fine. Thank you.
You could say you are about halfway through your European tour. What impressions and feelings has it to had on you so far?
I think I've been positively surprised that we've had a lot of much more bigger audiences that I used to had. So I'm really happy about that. And for instance, here in Barcin we have a sold out house. So I'm really happy about that. And it's a big place. It's 270 seats. And yeah. Otherwise, I'm really happy so far because everything has. We are still healthy, and our van is working, and all synths are working, and all the lights are working. So yeah, so far it's been great. I have to say, better than I was afraid of. So.
Okay, what program are you coming to us with today? What can we expect at the concert?
I'm performing my. I just released the Synthesizer Legends album, which is a cover album. So I bring quite a lot of covers this time, but I even have more of my own songs because I realized that people my fans are also interested in my own songs. But there will be a small emphasis perhaps on the cover songs from the Synthesizer Legends album, and that are like covers of 80s synthesizer music songs. And then I mix those in together with my own songs of the same style. So yeah, and we have a really good light show as well. Especially it works really well here in Barcin because it's kind of funny because this is the smallest town we are performing in, and it's the biggest stage. so it's really nice combination. And the big stages work really nicely for us because we have planned it so that we can do a great light show on kind of a really big stage like this, but we can also scale it down and do it on smaller stages. But we are always happy to perform at bigger stages because then the light show comes into full effect, so to say. So yeah, looking
yes,
forward.
and I want to ask because compared to other cities on your tour, Barcin is an extremely small town. What do you think about our city? How do you feel in this place?
Very welcome. I've been really happy so far and I've got a lot of help with loading in and loading out, and that's always the thing that demands the most of the energy for us because we have a lot of cases. And I think the good thing is that Barcin is very closely located to, I can't pronounce it, Bygdorst. You have a big city like 30 kilometers from here. And I think that many people that live in that city will be able to, it's close for them to come here. So I think it's very well located as well. It's not that far away from a major city center, and it's also the only concert I have in northern Poland. So it's northern part of Poland. Mm-hmm. So I think that has helped a lot with getting my fans here.
Let's talk about your history. How did your adventure with music begin? Apparently it wasn't electronic music at first.
No, I started in the 80s as a kid playing the piano, and I did it just as a hobby. And then I played for a couple of years. And then I grew bored with it, playing piano. I wasn't that good at it. I was quite okay, but not like fantastic. And I stopped playing piano. I started playing guitar in upper secondary school, and but then in high school I started playing piano and keyboards again because I realized that there was a lack of keyboard players in bands, at local bands. There was a lot of guitar players around, but there was a lack of keyboard players. So then, and I also got interested in synthesizers around that time. So then I started playing keyboards and synthesizers, but then I played mostly in different bands. So I played in probably 20 different hobby bands until I started doing this.
And it was a metal band too, yeah?
Yes, metal bands too. Even the really first band was a metal band, and also the really last band was also a metal band, a progressive metal band called Kasim Bedlam, and that was the last band I played in. I would have loved to continue with them, but it just I just realized that I just had to focus on one thing, because this already takes nowadays Kebu takes all my time. So it's doing music, solo music on my own. It takes all my time, so I don't have time for anything else anymore.
Yes, and how did it happen that you switched from metal bands to solo electronic music?
I kind of I think it was in the process of working on an album which was really difficult, and then I just started in the kind of on the side. I tried to do some synthesizer music that I hadn't tried before. I think I just tried to. I remembered the old synthesizer music that I was interested in as a kid, and then I thought that perhaps I could do something similar. And then I tried to do some songs, and I realized that it seemed that I have a talent for doing that. And then I started also posted them on YouTube, and people were really interested in them. I got a really good, a lot of positive responses from them, and then I realized that this is probably. I noticed that this is really people are interested in this. So then I just started to do more. And then I just started. Then I also realized, this is now starting to take more and more time. So then I just quit in all the bands I was playing in, and eventually I quit my daytime job as well, and then started doing this. So I'm doing this as a full-time job since 2017 now.
And when was your first synthesizer concert?
It was in 2012. Yeah, I think it was in 2012, because I had just released my first album, To Jupiter and Back. And then I wanted to take that live as well. So yeah, it was in May 2012. Then I had my first tour, which was only 4 concerts or 5 concerts in Finland. So yeah, that's how it started.
And when you create your own music, how long does it take to create one song, one piece?
It takes quite a long time. It actually takes me probably from start to finish. I would say it probably takes 50-60 hours, so it's or perhaps even more. 50-60 hours is probably quite a yeah. I would say that it takes a long time.
And how the process look like?
I usually it depends on mostly it starts with just playing on the synth, and I come up with something interesting, and then I build it from there. Sometimes it might be that I have an idea. For instance, if I'm working on an album, I might have an idea of, I would like to have a slow song here, or I would like to have an up-tempo song here. So that can direct. And also, sometimes it also might be just that I programmed an interesting sound, and then I'm like, this is something I would like to work on, and then it. Sometimes it just happens even by accident. I'm just like playing around, and all of a sudden I'm like, I have perhaps an idea for a song here. And yeah, so that's roughly how it goes.
And what or who are you inspired by when creating music? Of course, it's Jean-Michel Jarre, but does anyone else influence your music?
Yeah, I have many. I've been listening to a lot of different types of music. Of course, Jarre is probably the main influence in sort of doing like synthesizer music, and also I like the style that he made in the 70s and 80s, and I'm trying to build it from there. But yeah, then I've been listening to a lot of different type of music, and I think that affects what I like. So yeah, and how the music turns out. So I actually of course, like other composers who make instrumental music, like Vangelis and also Mike Oldfield is somebody I usually quote. And then also listened to a lot of Dire Straits when I was as a teenager, and I've also listened to a lot of progressive rock and progressive metal bands, but also jazz bands. But yeah, jazz obviously is not like a direct influence in my music. But yeah, so many different types of music.
We see a lot of different synthesizers on stage. What equipment did you come to us with today?
Oh, there is a lot of different synths. I have probably 20 different synthesizers, and then I have, of that, I have roughly 10 keyboards, I think, on stage. So there are, but essentially everything, it consists of analog synthesizers and analog drum machines. And so everything that you hear is being played on stage by the analog synths and analog drum machines. There are no backing tracks. So I have a sequencer, it's called, which plays the synths that I am not playing, and also plays the drum machines that I am not playing. So everything is kind of generated on stage and mixed in real time with a digital mixer, and then I have pre-programmed the mixer so that kind of optimized what it should sound like, but everything is happening on stage.
What if the retro equipment you have breaks down? Do repair services of such classics still exist? Do you repair the equipment you own yourself?
It's really difficult these days, especially in Finland. I used to have a few contacts a few persons that were really good at repairing them, but they have, sadly, all of them have quit. And now it's getting more and more difficult to find people who have the time to repair them because they are in so high demand. The old synths are surprisingly durable. I mean, most of the problems I have is computer related, because I have a computer that plays videos, background videos, and getting the computer to speak with the projector or LED screen or whatever we have on a stage. That's usually what brings the most problems. The synths are surprisingly durable. I can do some basic service, basic maintenance myself. If I know what is wrong in a synth, then I can repair it. If I don't know what is wrong, then it's more difficult. Then I probably won't be able to repair it. But if I know what is wrong, then I can do it myself. I have some basic soldering skills and also kind of basic mechanical skills. So I'm not afraid to open up a synth and do some maintenance there. But really, like, if I have to find a specific component that gives the error, I'm not that skillful yet. So, but I try to. I have to learn because it's difficult to find anybody else to repair these days.
Okay, so at the end, let me ask you, what are your plans for the future? After returning from your tour, are you planning another tour? Will you focus on creating new music, or maybe it's time for a break?
Well, it's definitely time for a break. We'll have a couple of months of vacation directly after the tour, but then after that, I'm planning on doing. I want to make more music, and I probably won't be touring again for 2 or 3 years. And the reason is that I organize the whole tour myself, and it just takes such a lot of time to organize a tour. So I try to have people help me, and sometimes it helps, sometimes it is the opposite. So it just makes it even more difficult. So I just realized that the best way is just unfortunately I have to do all the booking myself. But it takes such a long time, because for this tour it took me 4 months full-time job, and then the actual tour takes 2 months full-time job, and then I can't make any new music during that time. So it's like half a year that goes to only for the tour preparation and the actual touring. So it's a bit too much time. So that's why it will take a couple of years at least before I tour again. But next up, I really look forward to be making some new music.
Our guest was Sebastian Teir, or Kebu, of course. Thank you very much for doing the interview. Thanks for the conversation.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.